Honorable Speaker, the committee extends to conduct a fact-finding visit to various counties to establish the extent of the fiber optic network coverage to county headquarters, county assemblies, government offices, and schools. This is to ensure the online access to government services is available to all. Mr. Speaker, sir, in conclusion, I wish to thank your office and that of the clerk of the Senate for the continuous support according to the committee in undertaking its work. Lastly, I also wish to thank the members of the committee for their commitment, diligence, and contributions during the committee activities. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Chairperson, Standing Committee on Land, Environment, and Natural Resources.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I stand pursuant to Standing Order number 56(1)B of the Senate Standing Orders to make a statement relating to the activities of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment, and Natural Resources during the period February to April 2025. Honorable Speaker, the Standing Committee on Land, Environment, and Natural Resources is established under Standing Order number 2283 of the Senate Standing Orders and is mandated to consider all matters relating to lands and settlement, environment, forestry, wildlife, mining, water resource management and development, and also aspects of climate change. Honorable Speaker, during the period under review, the committee held a total of 23 sittings, which it considered 1 bill, 7 petitions, and 1 legislative proposal, and 13 statements. Honorable Speaker, the committee held meetings with the Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry, and the Minister of Interior and National Administration on pending legislative business before the committee. Through these meetings, the committee was able to comprehensively obtain responses on 8 statements from the Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry and shared them with the respective senators. There are also responses obtained from the Minister of Tourism, Wildlife and Heritage that have been dispatched to the respective senators. Honorable Speaker, it's important for the House to note that the Minister of Lands, Public Works and Housing and Urban Development has been unresponsive to a number of state invitations to appear before the committee to respond to the various legislative business pending, which includes 27 statements and 7 petitions. This has slowed down the committee's output, and the committee has since resolved to summon the Cabinet Secretary to appear before the committee, initially on the 8th of May and now on the 14th of May, Honorable Speaker, for the aforementioned matters. In addition, written responses have been sought, with some responses still pending before the National Land Commission, and the committee is scheduled to meet the Commission on the 15th of May, that is on Thursday this week. Legislative proposal. Honorable Speaker, during the period under review, the committee considered the Electronic Equipment Disposal, Recycling and Reuse Bill 2024, a legislative proposal sponsored by Senator Peris Tobiko, MP, and the committee communicated back to the Speaker of its resolution on 18th of March 2025 pursuant to Standing Order number 133, number 133A of the Senate Standing Orders. Bills. Honorable Speaker, the committee considered and tabled a report on the Environmental Law Amendment Bill 2024, Senate Bills number 2023 of 2024. After consideration of written submissions from the National Gender and Equality Commission, the Coast Regional Budget Hub, and Casey Walter, the committee thereafter tabled its report in the Senate on the 20th of February 2025. Honorable Speaker, the committee is currently considering 1 bill, the Real Estate Regulation Bill, Senate Bills number 35 of 2023. The committee previously met the Council of Governors, the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, the Institute of Surveyors of Kenya, the Estate Agents Registration Board, the Kenya Alliance of Residents Associations, and the Kenya Property Developers Association. The committee is scheduled to consider the submissions and be submitting a report on the bill before the next reporting period. The Natural Resources Benefit Sharing Bill, Senate Bill number 6 of 2022, is still under mediation, and the process having the first meeting is underway. Petitions. Honorable Speaker, the committee has 9 petitions submitted to it and that are pending under consideration. The committee has since managed to consider 7 of the petitions during the period, during the reporting period, and conducted 5 county visits in Mombasa, Taita Taveta, Kisii, Homa Bay, Busia counties to conduct further investigations on the petitions. They include A, the petition concerning recognition of land ownership rights and redress of historical land injustices in Mombasa, the petition by Marungu residents within Mchange Wanda Ward, Taita Taveta County, the petition regarding land ownership dispute of Mwananchi Settlement Scheme in Mwatate constituency of Taita Taveta County, the petition on Changara Water Pan, World Bank funded project in Busia County, and the petition on a delayed allocation of alternative land by way of resettlement or compensation for the ancestral land that was alienated by the government of Kenya for Kisii Agricultural Institute and Kisii Farmers Training Center. Honorable Speaker, the committee endeavors to ensure completion of the remainder of petitions that are pending by the next reporting period as it pursues the responses from the relevant stakeholders. Statements. Honorable Speaker, cumulatively, the committee has received a total of 173 statements, of which 113 have been concluded and 60 are pending before the committee. This translates to a completion rate of 65%. The committee is yet to receive responses on some statements. During the period under review, 13 statements were considered by the committee and dispatched to the relevant senators, and a detailed analysis is annexed hereto. Given the large number of statements before the committee, a more comprehensive updated tracker is available, providing the status of the statements. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, I wish to thank your office and the office of the Clerk of the Senate for the continuous support accorded to the committee and undertaking its work. Lastly, I also want to thank my members of the committee for their commitment and diligence in contributions during the committee activities. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Chairperson, Standing Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity. Senator Abbas, is this your committee?
On behalf of Chute. Mr. Speaker, I'm reading on behalf of Chute.
Who is the
Mr.
chair?
Speaker, I'm reading on behalf of Senator Chute.
Yes, Senator Abbas, certainly this is not your... I'm surprised you're so willing to walk to the table. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, statement on the activities of the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration for the period 1st January 2025 to 30th April 2025. Honorable Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 56(1)B of the Senate Standing Orders to make a statement relating to the activities of the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity and Regional Integration for the period of January to April 2025. During the period under reference, the committee held 19 sittings at which it considered various legislative business, that is, statements, inquiries, and motion from the Senate, and held stakeholders' engagements as set out below. Statements. A. Statements. The committee received 4 statements and has already written to stakeholders inviting their submissions on the issues raised. The committee is at various stages of interacting with the stakeholders and preparing its response. B. Motions on the current state of the nation. The committee considered resolutions of the Senate arising from the adoption of the motion on the current state of the nation. The committee held 32 meetings. The committee held 32 meetings where it received oral submissions and written memorandum from 45 governors, National Cohesion and Integration Commission, and the Public Procurement Authority. The report on the motion has been adopted by the committee and is scheduled for tabling in the month of May 2025. C. Inquiries. The committee is currently conducting an inquiry into the representation of Kenyans' diversity in the staff composition of the semi-autonomous government agencies. The committee held 17 sittings, during which 13 stakeholders appeared before it. The committee will table the comprehensive report at the end of the inquiry. Mr. Speaker, sir, county visits. The committee undertook county visits to Homa Bay and Busia counties from 28th to 30th April 2025, where it assessed the level of inclusion and representation of the workforce in terms of gender, youth, persons with disabilities, marginalized communities, and marginalized communities. The committee also inspected the county offices of the two counties to ascertain their accessibility to persons with disabilities. Honorable Speaker, during the remainder of the fourth session, the committee has prioritized the conclusion of legislative business before the committee, as well as the county visits. As I conclude, I wish to thank the Office of the Speaker and the Clerk of the Senate for the steadfast support they have accorded this committee, as well as the members of the committee for their utmost dedication and commitment to duty. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Senator Mohammed Chute, MP Chairperson.
The Chairperson, Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a statement on the activities of the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations for the period 25th February 2025 to 30th April 2025. Pursuant to Standing Order 56.1b of the Senate Standing Orders, Honorable Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Orders 56.1b of the Senate Standing Orders to make statement relating to activities of the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations for the period of April 2025 to April 2025. The committee was reconstituted on Wednesday, 12 February 2025 and Wednesday, 19 February 2025. During the period under reference, the membership is as per Annex 1. During the period under review, the committee held 9 sittings at which it considered various legislative proposal bills, statements, petitions, motions, and held stakeholder engagement as set out below. Mr. Speaker, legislative proposal via an email addressed to the Clerk of the Senate. The committee received 2 draft bills from the public, namely the Internal Security Devolution and County Empowerment Bill 2025 and the proposed Directorate of Criminal Investigation Authority Bill 2025. As part of the committee's mandate, the committee will have meetings with the relevant stakeholders to deliberate on issues touching on the legislative proposal. Bills during the reporting period, the committee considered 1 bill, namely the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Bill 2024, Senate Bill number 1 of 2024. The committee sought and was granted extension of time to consider the bill, as the committee is yet to hold public participation in Meru, Embu, and coastal counties. The committee, however, received written submissions on the bill for 12 stakeholders. The committee is at the tail end of concluding consideration of the bill and will be tabling our report in the month of May 2025. Statements, there were 29 statements the committee considered, Mr. Speaker, statement during the reporting period and concluded 7 statements, while 22 statements are ongoing. A list of statements is attached as Annex 3. Petitions, Mr. Speaker, the committee is currently considering a petition concerning compensation of police officers injured in line of duty, which was redirected from the Standing Committee on Labor and Welfare and Social Welfare. The committee met with the petitioners and relevant stakeholders to deliberate on the petition. The committee is scheduled to meet with the relevant stakeholders to receive further submissions on the petition. The committee is projected to conclude the consideration within the month of May 2025. Motions, Mr. Speaker, the committee considered resolution of the Senate arising from the adoption of the motion on the current state of the nation. The committee met with the relevant stakeholders and received written submissions, and the draft report on the motion is underway. The committee will be tabling its report to the Senate during the month of May 2025. Sessional papers and policies. Mr. Speaker, the committee is currently considering one sessional paper during the reporting period, namely the foreign policy of the Republic of Kenya, and this is still ongoing, and the committee is scheduled to meet with relevant stakeholders in the month of June 2025 and table the report soon thereafter. The committee further, Mr. Speaker, held meeting with the Ministry of Interior, National Administration, Ministry of Defense, and Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Diaspora, and deliberated on legislative gaps and proposals and opportunities for collaboration. The committee also is looking into allegation of corruption and mismanagement of funds pertaining to the Kenya National Police SACCO that affects the welfare of the police that falls under the committee's mandate. The detailed status of the legislative business considered by the committee during the reporting period is attached as Annex 2 to this statement. Honorable Speaker, during the remainder of the fourth session, the committee has prioritized the conclusion of legislative business before the committee as well as the county visits. As I conclude, I wish to thank the Office of the Speaker and the Clerk of the Senate for the steadfast support that they have accorded this committee, as well as the members of the committee for their utmost dedication and commitment to the duty. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, honorable members, before I allow comments on the statements that have been sought, let's move to dispense with order number 9, and therefore I will seek to rearrange today's order paper pursuant to Standing Order 45-2. We dispense with order number 9, and then we will resume normal flow as contained in today's order paper. Clerk, proceed to call that order.
Order number 9 is motion, consolidation of bursary funds for equitable access to education in Kenya. Question to be put.
Clerk, do we have the requisite quorum? We do. Now, honorable senators, this is a matter that does not concern counties, and therefore voting shall be by voice. I will therefore proceed to put the question. That are aware that pursuant to Article 53 of the Constitution, every child in Kenya is entitled to free and compulsory basic education. And the Basic Education Act provides that basic education should be guided by principles such as equitable access to all youth and equal access to education or institutions. Further, aware that many students in secondary schools and higher education institutions come from financially disadvantaged backgrounds, making it difficult for them to afford school fees and access education opportunities, noting that over years, various interventions have been made, including the issuance of bursaries through the National Government Constituency Development Fund, National Government Affirmative Action Fund, the Ministry of Education and county governments through various county bursary funds, concerned that despite these efforts, school fees remain unaffordable for many parents, and the allocation of bursaries has been plagued by nepotism, favoritism, and political manipulation, lack of transparency and accountability. Further concerned that the public learning institutions are primarily funded by the government through the Ministry of Education, and in the financial year 2024-2025, approximately 656 billion Kenya shillings was allocated to the education sector, making it difficult to ascertain the specific funds granted to each student, and that the lack of transparency in the disbursement of bursaries from various agencies make it difficult to determine the total amount allocated in a financial year, thus hindering efforts to ensure equitable access to education for financially disadvantaged students. Now, therefore, the Senate urges the Minister of Education to do the following. 1, audit the funds allocated to bursaries by both the national government and the county governments. 2, consolidate the funds distributed by various government entities and agencies with the aim of directing these funds directly to schools as supplementary capitation to facilitate the achievement of free secondary education. And 3, calculate the cost of education per learner and make this information public for primary, secondary and tertiary institutions, including a detailed breakdown of the annual financial requirements of each student across the country. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Now, before I allow comments on the statements, Honorable Senators, let me pass this communication first. I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon of visiting teachers and students from St. Francis Katangi Boys in Machakos County. The delegation comprises 2 teachers and 49 students who are in the Senate for a one-day academic exposition. Honorable Senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. I do not see the Senator for Machakos in the House. I will therefore allow the Majority Leader under 1 minute to extend a word of welcome to the delegation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of my colleagues and the House of the Senate, I do welcome these students that have visited with us this afternoon. I hope they get full value of their time and money that they've spent to visit the Senate. This is their home in the future, and therefore they should take interest in the affairs of their countries with specific focus on counties, because that's a primary and the raison d'etre of this House of the Senate. And I hope, Mr. Speaker, that as they travel back to Machakos, they'll give a good account. It's sad, though, that they have come on an afternoon of less drama and just reports and a very orderly house. I know sometimes they watch the things that happen here and they'd have wished to see part of it. It's not the end of the day yet, and things sometimes boil from 0 to 100 in seconds in this house. So in the few minutes that they're still around, Mr. Speaker, something may happen. Who knows? All the best to the young students. May they conquer the world. I thank you.
Now we're back to comments on the statements that have been sought. Well, I will allocate 15 minutes for us to make comments. If you get an opportunity to speak, kindly keep it under 3 minutes. Senator Fonandi.
Mr. Speaker, for the first time, I'm proud by the statement of the chairperson of JLAC, where I did serve with distinction in the last session, Mr. Speaker, although I encountered some turbulence along the way. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that the issue of Iebc, the reading of Article 93 is very clear, that Parliament comprises both the Senate and the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, sorry, the issue, and I was shocked, Mr. Speaker, yesterday when the National Assembly gave notice for public to submit memoranda to the National Assembly Jailer Committee. Mr. Speaker, the election is a matter of national concern. Members of Parliament, which is the Senate and the National Assembly, are the representatives of the people, Mr. Speaker. We have done joint vetting before of Inspector General of Police, Mr. Speaker. We have done vetting of joint independent services, Mr. Speaker. Why is it that the National Assembly wants to frustrate the Senate by only purporting that they can vet the chairperson and members of Iebc? So, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Committee of JLAC for standing strong, Mr. Speaker. And you have to appreciate, and I want to challenge the House leadership and SBC, where you sit as the chair, that, Mr. Speaker, I am aware that there are a number of legislations from this House that are being strategically frustrated by the National Assembly because they fear to implement the Constitution, Mr. Speaker. Looking at the amendment of the regulations, in 2013, the Senate was not supposed to be part because we were never in existence. So after 2013, when the Senate came into force and reading of Article 93, the role of vetting of Iebc should be a joint committee of the Senate JLAC and the National Assembly JLAC, Mr. Speaker. Even when you read under Article 88 on establishment of Iebc, Mr. Speaker, we must and we should not allow the National Assembly to vet on their own the IEBC chairperson and IEBC commissioners, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are not short of weapons to use to ensure that the voice of the Senate, which is the voice of the people, can be heard, Mr. Speaker. And even possibility of seeking the legal interventions in the courts of law, Mr. Speaker. So I want to agree with the committee of the JLAC and say kudos for the good job. Mr. Speaker, we have been taken far too long for a ride by the National Assembly. We are also elected by Kenyans. More so, we cover more, Mr. Speaker, in this country. And therefore, the issue of IEBC concerns both houses and Kenyans as alike, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, I hope the National Assembly must withdraw the notice that they have issued in public for memorandum to be submitted until we jointly agree as the House, Mr. Speaker, so that we can do vetting of IEBC chairperson and commissioners, knowing the urgency of the matter, Mr. Speaker. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of ICT, thank you.
Senator Osotsi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me also join in making comments on the statements by Senator Catherine Muma on the issue of data protection abuse by those mobile phone lenders, the people who lend mobile phones or who give hire purchase services on mobile phones. Mr. Speaker, I think we are continually receiving complaints around the issue of data protection. And we must ask ourselves where we are going wrong as a nation. Just the other day, Mr. Speaker, you saw the ruling by the courts on the issue of WorldCoin, where the courts ruled that there was a violation of data protection rights by WorldCoin company. Question is, how did this company get into this country and started taking data from our people? There is a problem, Mr. Speaker, which must be addressed. And speaking as an expert, I want to say that maybe it's an opportunity for us to have a relook at the entire Data Protection Act, because that is where we have inconsistencies. I have noted inconsistencies even in the way the Office of Data Protection Commission is being managed, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think the ideal person to head the Office of the Data Protection must be someone who understands the technology, IT. We cannot just be giving every job that comes in the public sector to lawyers. We need to review this so that we give it to people who understand the process. And Mr. Speaker, even speaking about this, the regulators in the ICT industry are failing this country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, just this week I heard that the Communication Authority has increased spectrum licenses by 2,000%, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is going to drive out of business telecommunication operators, including Safaricom. And they are doing this for the purpose of generating funds for the government. But what about the implication on the economy, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, it's a high time that this sector must be manned by people who understand technology. At CA, the Director General is a journalist. The chairman is a business woman who does not understand technology. Mr. Speaker, I think the IT committee must look at this issue of competence and leadership in the
Senator Mundigi, Senator Mungatana, Senator Gloria Oroba. Senator Professor Tomo Jenda, Senator Faki.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Mimi pia nachukua fursa hii kuongeza kauli yangu juu ya taarifa iliyoletwa na mwenyekiti wa kamati ya sheria, haki za binadamu kuhusiana na uteuzi wa makamishna wa IEBC. Mheshimiwa Spika, Kama inavyojulikana kuwa Iebc ni kiungo muhimu cha uchaguzi katika nchi yetu ya Kenya, na makamishna hawa na mwenyekiti wao watakapofanya kazi yao itawahusisha kuchaguliwa kwa rais, kuchaguliwa kwa magavana, kuchaguliwa kwa maseneta, kuchaguliwa kwa wabunge wa bunge la kitaifa na vile vile pia wabunge wa bunge la kaunti. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, uteuzi wao lazima upitie katika bunge la Senate, kwa sababu Senate ndio inalinda maslahi ya ugatuzi, ndio inalinda maslahi ya mabunge ya kaunti, inalinda maslahi ya magavana. Kwa hivyo haiwezekani kwamba sheria ambayo inatumika kuwachagua ni ile sheria ambayo ilifanywa kabla ya kuwa na katiba mpya ya ugatuzi. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, natoa kauli yangu kusindikiza kwamba lazima uteuzi wa makamishna wale ufike katika bunge la Senate ili kuona kwamba haki inatendeka katika uteuzi huo. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the statement by Senator Muma on the need to protect data in this country. It is imperative that at the time when data is the most expensive asset that anyone can have, we are not protecting the poor people who cannot be able to afford buying a phone and not have to register it. I think the key most important thing we need to do is to ask ourselves whether it is imperative for this House and the National Assembly to be able to re-amend the Data Protection Act. We have to amend this Data Protection Act and be specific and also be intentional when it comes to the issue of guarding. When you hear that those who cannot afford to buy phones in full prices are buying the phones on credit, and then that data is now sold to a third party, it really begs a question on what do we really need to do. One of my biggest pet peeves, Mr. Speaker, is when you are sitting down here, you find a telemarketer sending you a text message, telling you to buy bundles using the following shortcode. I think we need to relook at the whole issue of data protection in this country. Even the basic request for an ID number when you're going to deposit money in your Safaricom, when you're going there and then that record is kept there, we should ask ourselves whether we have to redefine the law to be able to make it difficult for people to just have to ask for your ID number and they write it down there. I think we need to be more creative and say you can give the last 4 digits of your number, or these telecommunication companies come up with a more smarter way of protecting your data. They can actually demand that you give them the 3rd, 4th, or the last digit of your ID number instead of having to give out the full ID number. So this statement, I hope the Committee on ICT will take it seriously, because today it is that poor farmer or that poor mama mboga who cannot afford to buy a phone full price, whose data is being sold. Tomorrow it is you, the legislator, sitting here who can be able to afford a 200,000 shilling phone with your name being used to register a phone number and then being used for fraud. So it is imperative. And we also must ask ourselves whether we need to limit the number of phone numbers people can have. Because you will find one person, the ID number has been used to register 20 lines. If you follow those 20 lines, Mr. Speaker, you'll be shocked. In some counties, we know people collect revenue using those 20 numbers, and then they just throw them away.
The Senate Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, apologies, let me use this. Oh yeah, it's okay. Mr. Speaker, data protection is a very serious issue. And I know this because many times when we've passed legislation that allows government to acquire data from citizens, Mr. Speaker, we have always had a conversation as a House on the importance to ensure that storage of this data guarantees the protection of privacy. Mr. Speaker, a trend is emerging nowadays where personal data is being shared including of public officials, with no repercussions or recourse whatsoever from the Office of the Data Commissioner. Many people don't know that even a PO box address is private data. Even a mobile phone number, Mr. Speaker, with all this trend that you're seeing nowadays of if I disagree with Senator Catherine Muma, I post her number online and say, oh, I don't know, do this or the other to her. That is violation of data privacy, Mr. Speaker. And we do not see any recourse or guidance on such issues, Mr. Speaker, from the Office of the Data Commissioner. Given, Mr. Speaker, that this matter that is being raised is specific, yet there are quite a number of violations that have happened the last few days, would I be in order if I request the ICT committee, Mr. Speaker, to guide us in ensuring that we have the Office of the Data Protection Office, Mr. Speaker, perhaps make an appearance before that particular committee, or even the committee of the whole, Mr. Speaker, so that we can find ways in which we ensure that data of citizens are protected from whatever people that may want to use it for whatever reason, including fraudsters, Mr. Speaker, or people that even want to use it for political reasons, because a violation is a violation, Mr. Speaker. And there have been continuous violations over the last few months with very little efforts, Mr. Speaker, or guidance from the Data Commission. Actually, that's a person that I was looking for. Thank you, Senator Cherargei. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I expect that Senator Alan Chesang, together with the ICT team, will lead us into making proper findings so that as we pass future legislation, Mr. Speaker, we can secure data of citizens and ensure that those who breach privacy are punished by law. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mogene.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me an opportunity to also make my contribution to the statements issued by the respective chairman. But, Mr. Speaker, there is one that has caught my attention. While contributing, I heard Senator Cherargei state that the approval of nominees to Iebc should be processed by the National Assembly and referred to the Senate for approval. Mr. Speaker, this issue is one that we should address honestly and consciously as a Senate, because what happened in Naivasha is a travesty of justice. When the committee of experts went to Naivasha, members of National Assembly totally mutilated the oversight and legislative mandate of the Senate. Because if you read the current constitution, though the report says, I've read the report at page 2, it says that once the National Assembly has considered the nominees, it should forward the names to the Senate for their input and also approval. But, Mr. Speaker, if you read Article 250 of the Constitution, it states in black and white that each commission shall consist of at least 3 but not more than 9 members. And the chairperson and each member of a commission shall be approved by the National Assembly. So clearly the way Article 250 is worded, the Senate of the Republic of Kenya has been left out of a very critical process. Mr. Speaker, a time has come for us as Kenyans, for us as parliamentarians, to do a serious audit on this constitution and have a constitution that is meant to serve a bicameral parliament. Because, Mr. Speaker, myself, Senator Cherargei, Alwale, all of us enjoy direct mandate from the people. We are elected directly by the people. We are not like the House of Lords in US, in UK, where you get an honorary appointment to serve in the House of Lords. So I wanted to draw that to the attention of the House and say that this is an opportune moment for us to audit this constitution and make it a constitution that can serve a bicameral parliament that has the National Assembly and the Senate, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also note that on your screen, my name is it's not being seen clearly. So basically, I hope the ICT team of the Senate will take action and ensure that my names are clearly displayed on the screen, Honorable Speaker, because I've seen skipped. People have just walked in. I've got an opportunity to make comments. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, as I'm a member of the ICT committee here in the Senate, and we have noted the issues on data protection. And Honorable Speaker, Senator Ossots and myself, when the ICT committee in National Assembly, when this particular law, Data Protection Act, was passed, and we had issues, especially, I think the biggest problem that we have is the 2010 Constitution. Most of those who agitated for it and also who really campaigned for this particular law, Honorable Speaker, there were very many activists, and most of them were lawyers, and every law they put in that you need to be a lawyer. In fact, we had challenges when we were debating, because this is a particular entity that should be headed by a person who is an expert in ICT. But because the law was as it was, Honorable Speaker, we picked a lawyer, and the term, I think, of the Data Commissioner is coming to an end in less than 2 years. This is something that we need to look at, and we need to go and relook at the law and amend the law appropriately, so that we have somebody heading that particular entity who is an expert in ICT. We are not saying the Data Commissioner is incompetent. She's competent because she came for the vetting. She impressed us, and we basically approved her to be the Data Commissioner, and she's doing a good job. One of the challenges that maybe they have is capacity because of staff levels. The number of employees they have is still very thin. They need to build up capacity so that we have people across the counties, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as a committee, I believe I'll discuss with the chair and the members so that in the next 2 weeks, we ensure that she comes to the committee and answer most of these concerns that members have raised, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Senator Omtata.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I rise to speak on 2 statements. First one by Senator Muma. I support that there's need to look critically at the laws governing data in this country. We even realize that under the current SHIF and SHA system, data is held by third parties, including by undisclosed companies in the USA who will be handling data, health data of Kenyans. So when you look at situations like that, and yet under the Digital Health Act, data is described as a strategic asset of the country. So if a strategic asset of the country can be left to undisclosed foreigners, then we are not taking the question of data seriously today. When we know that data can be used to design things, even to design a disease that can eliminate people who have the genes like my brother from the bull of Kakamega, can easily be cloned, and the things can be designed to eliminate people who have got those kind of traits. And that will be very bad for us. Also, I rise to support the issue that the vetting of the Iebc commissioners must be done by both houses. It's not, it's a fact that Article 250, Clause 2B, says the National Assembly will approve the nominees. But that is not the only thing in the Constitution. The Constitution is also very clear that matters of devolution must involve the Senate. And as it has been rightly observed, Iebc commissioners preside over elections of senators, MCAs, and governors, who are county officials at the county level and national officials at the Senate. So I put my weight behind those who have said that reading the Constitution as a whole, you'll find that it is necessary to bring that bill, those names to the Senate for approval. And also, the theory of bicameralism, whatever happened in Naivasha, but a bicameral parliament is supposed to be bicameral. It's not like a parliament where one house is like
an appendix of the other. So in the spirit of bicameralism, we must have that bill here. And I would urge my brothers and sisters in this house to try and realize that
Senator Mungatana.
Asante sana Bwana Spika kwa kunipa nafasi kuongea kuhusu statement ambayo inahusu usalama katika mabasi na usalama wa abiria. Bwana Spika, watoto wetu haswa wakati wa kufunga shule na kufungua mashule huwa wanasafiri sana kwa hizi barabara zetu. Na imefika wakati ambapo inakuwa kwamba ni lazima sasa kamati ambayo inahusika waangalie kama itawezekana hizi SACCOs ambazo zinafanya kazi kwa upande wa matatu, kwa upande wa kubeba abiria kwa mabasi, waongezewe requirement ya kwamba wakati wanapoondoka Nairobi kwenda Mombasa, ama kutoka Mombasa kwenda Tana River, ama safari kwenda Kakamega na kwengine, wawe wanatoa certificate ya kuonyesha kwamba wamefanya inspection kwa wale wanaoabiri hiyo basi, ili kuhakikisha kwamba wale wanaosafiri wako katika hali ya usalama. Kwa sababu mara nyingi ile kitu ambayo inafanyika pale kwa upande wa usafiri, watu wanaangalia pesa peke yake, watu wanaangalia insurance peke yake, watu wanaangalia kwamba viti vimejaa ama havikujaa, na zile SACCO juu ya hayo yote wanaangalia kwamba kuna ajali ama hakuna ajali, na madereva wamelipwa ama hawajalipwa. Lakini usalama wa wale abiria, Bwana Spika, hauangaliwi. Kwa hivyo ningependa sana wakati kamati hii inaangalia suala hili lote, waangalie pia na usalama wa abiria ambao wanasafiri katika mabasi na matatu zetu. Asante sana Bwana Spika.
Senator John Nyuto.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to make a comment on the statement by Iebc as presented by yourself as in your capacity as chair. And I first want to take this opportunity to congratulate those that have been nominated as chair and members or commissioners in the commission, in Iebc commission, Mr. Speaker. And we, as Kenyans of goodwill, nobody would want the obtaining situation where we had no Iebc to have continued. And so, Mr. Speaker, as I stand here, I want to say that I support the nomination of these particular Kenyans in order for them to go and do the very urgent and important business of conducting elections and doing the limitation of boundaries, hoping that you lawyers will guide us on whether we still have enough time to review our boundaries. Mr. Speaker, why I personally support this particular team that was nominated by the President is because I'm very much aware that our elections end at the polling station. And though there could be very many fears that the upcoming elections would be rigged, Mr. Speaker, we know that following the recommendations by Judge Kriegler, we know that every election ends at the polling station, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker.
What's your point of order, Senator Chirorge?
Mr. Speaker, understanding 105 on accuracy of, you know, when we speak, we must be careful because we don't want to set this country in the previous president. Is it in order, Senator, distinguished Senator Nyutu of Muranga, to state on record that there are plans or insinuation of rigging an upcoming election? Mr. Speaker, you know, you can set the country into unnecessary turmoil. Can you withdraw and apologize, Mr. Speaker? Those are statements that you make only in funerals and baby showers. You don't make it unanswered, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator John Yutu, Standing Order 105.1 states that a senator shall be responsible for the accuracy of any facts that the senator alleges to be true and may be required to substantiate any such instantly. Give Senator Joe Yutu the
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think it's important that we all, as Senator Cherargei says, that we need to we all belong to this country, Mr. Speaker, and nobody would want this country to burn. But there is a difference, Mr. Speaker, between alleging and expressing that there were fears. And so, Mr. Speaker, I don't think that I have said there will be rigging in 2027. And I think it's important, Mr. Speaker, that we also, Mr. Speaker, that we also remember the lessons that we were taught in English. Saying that there could be fears or there were fears
Senator
is
Cherargei,
different.
Just hold your horse. Allow the senator to continue as he's alleging that the fears.
Thank you, Mr.
Proceed,
Speaker.
Senator.
And I wish Senator Cherargei would stop interrupting my line of thinking. Mr. Speaker, this is simple English, and we should not argue here over simple English, Mr. Speaker. So let me continue with my submission. So I was saying, in fact, I don't know why Senator Cherargei feels threatened. The guilty are always afraid, Mr. Speaker. I do not know why Senator Cherargei would just get very...
What's your point of order once again, Senator Cherargei?
Mr. Speaker, you gave an express instructions as the substantiation under 105. In 121, Mr. Speaker, the senator has now become disorderly. He has refused to follow your orders. So he should be called to order, Mr. Speaker, because what he's saying is there are fears. These are not a rumor milling station. This is the Senate of the Republic of Kenya.
Senator Cherargei,
He should have used the word allegedly. He should withdraw and replace because he seems to understand the English, Mr. Speaker.
I heard Senator Joe Yutu commenting to the effect that it is not a matter of fact, but it's an allegation. And so that was an allegation. It was not a statement of fact. Senator John, you to conclude on your comments.
Thank you. I actually had given the assurance that everybody is comfortable because elections end at the polling station. But of course, in the character of Senator Cherargei, of wanting to interrupt the line of thinking of those that do not hold his view, of course, and we allow him, we understand Senator Cherargei. Please allow me to conclude my remarks. So, Mr. Speaker, I was just about to say that we have a very big job ahead for the Iebc commissioners, Mr. Speaker, because we need to relook at our boundaries, electoral boundaries, and Mr. Speaker, also to see to it that those constituencies and wards that do not have representatives get their justice of being represented, Mr. Speaker. The other thing that I may want to say about this particular list, Mr. Speaker, is because we have had occasion of public servants being accused of having been incompetent, Mr. Speaker, I would want to call upon the National Assembly, when they are vetting these nominees, that then they look at the competence of each one of them. Because, Mr. Speaker, we do not want to hear in this country that somebody has been given a job, whether a presidential nominee or any other nominee, approved by the National Assembly, and then later such an officer, Mr. Speaker, is said to have been incompetent. So if we will have any of these Iebc commissioners vetted by the National Assembly, and then later we are told by whoever it will be, whether the president or anybody else, that they were incompetent, Mr. Speaker, we must tell the National Assembly and any other body that vets public officers that they must make sure that everybody is competent, because, Mr. Speaker, we bring shame to Kenyans when we give them a job, they are vetted at the National Assembly and proved to be fit.
Senator John Yutu, your time is up. Senator Catherine Muma.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mine is to briefly comment on the statement for JLAC and to congratulate the nation for moving to where we have reached. Honorable Speaker, it is my hope that very soon the newly appointed members of the Iebc will be vetted and that the officers can begin their work right away. Mr. Speaker, I would want to associate with the comments that it would have been fit and it should be fit for the Senate to be involved in the vetting of members of the Iebc, for the simple reason that the elections that the Iebc conducts includes elections that affect counties. So the idea of reading one statement, one clause of a constitution as against another, I think is an anomaly that I hope we can move, even as we try to do amendments to the constitution, we can regularize quite a number of these clauses that seem to lock out the Senate in a mandate that naturally involves them. But that aside, Mr. Speaker, I hope that the vetting, the National Assembly can be recalled very soon to clear that team, because the team has a lot of work to do for this country. Mr. Speaker, I served on the Kriegler Commission. And Mr. Speaker, elections are not an event. Election is comprised of a series of activities that do not take 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. It is an exercise that needs to take a lot into account. I'm hoping that my former officer, Ethicon, who was picked as chair, and I can vouch for his competence, will be able to hit the road running very fast and demonstrate to those who think he's incompetent that he's actually a competent officer and start working with the Iebc. He has a lot of work to do. I would say the team should get together quickly, retreat, identify the things that need to be done, and there are many, including registration of voters, including delimitation of boundaries, including the correction of our voter register, and we need as a country to rally together to ensure that in the next 11...
Senator Muma, your time is up. Senator Karen Nyamu.
Hapana. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to contribute to the statement by Senator Catherine Muma on the spread of cholera across the country. Mr. Speaker, by 6th of April this year, there's been 97 confirmed cases of cholera with 6 fatalities. And 12 of these cases are from Nairobi, with 1 fatality in Nairobi. The cases spread across all our sub-counties: Kasarani, Embakasi East, Embakasi Central, Kibra, and I think Dagoretti South. Mr. Speaker, cholera is a condition that makes you very dehydrated very fast and causes death very quickly. It is very paramount that the Ministry of Health has very quick response to protect the lives of our people. We need them to give us the data, the latest data so far, because if you search, that is the latest data was on 5th April, that is over a month ago. We need to know the measures they're taking to make sure that these outbreaks of cholera are not recurrent. And as you can see, the counties in question are the usual suspects, with Nairobi having recurrent outbreaks every time there's an issue, Nairobi featuring. We would like to know what the ministry is doing to ensure that cholera outbreak is a thing of the past. We need to know what are they doing to sanitization and basically cleanliness. What are they doing in common areas, in our informal settlements? Because we also know it spreads very fast on contact. What are they doing about the people who have been in close contact to the ones who are already infected? And what are they doing to make sure information is out there that we have cholera? And what sensitization are they doing to the citizens? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senators, lastly, on comments on statements, I'll allow Senator Wambua to make his last comments. Then we will move to the next business in the order paper. Senator Wambua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will be very brief on my comments. And I want to comment on the statement that you read as chair of JLAC. I've keenly listened to colleagues making reference to the process of the appointment of the new Iebc commissioners. A reference has been made to competencies. But the Speaker, from where you sit as chair of JLAC, you now have an opportunity. If this commission will be set up, when it will be set up, to ensure that, Mr. Speaker, the provisions of Article 249 of the Constitution then are fully implemented, beginning with this commission. Mr. Speaker, a few minutes ago when we convened in the Senate, there was talk about the place where this institution, this Senate, has been pushed by PSC and by extension by the National Assembly. Even in instances, Mr. Speaker, where there are clear constitutional provisions on how we should transact business as Parliament, I think as a House, we have not fully pulled our weight. On the matter of the budgets for constitutional commissions and independent offices, Mr. Speaker, the Senate must have a say. And it's very clear, Mr. Speaker, Article 249(3), that Parliament shall allocate adequate funds to enable each commission and independent office to perform its functions, and the budget of each commission and independent office shall be a separate vote. Which means, Mr. Speaker, that when it comes to the budget-making process for all the constitutional commissions and independent offices, the Senate must be involved. As Speaker, on this matter, I want to plead with you as the chair of your committee and other chairs of other committees where you have independent commissions to ensure that in the budget-making process, from the beginning to the end, the Senate is part of that process. That means, the Speaker, we begin then to occupy our rightful space in the legislature of the Republic of Kenya. Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you, Senator Wambua. Now, honorable members, that brings us to the end of comments to the statements, and I'll direct the clerk to call the next order. Members, order number 9 had previously been called out and a vote was carried. So I will direct that the next order be called out again. Sorry, I will, for purposes of convenience of the House, I will defer order number 10, order number 11, order number 12, and order number 12. Because these bills are for division and we do not have the numbers to go to division. Clerk, call order number 13.
Order number 13, the Creative Economy Support Bill, Senate Bills number 30 of 2024, Second reading, resumption of debate.
When the House rose on 7th of May 2025, Senator Eddy, who is the mover of this bill, was on the floor, and you have got 53 minutes, Senator Eddy, to continue moving your motion. Please proceed. Senator Eddy, proceed to move your bill.
Mr. Speaker, I'm a very focused senator, and you should help Senator Cherargei to understand that. Part of focus is consultation, and I want to appreciate the VIP in the House, Senator Crystal Asige, who has been very, very important in terms of just helping out with this bill. Right from the time that I conceived the idea, Senator Crystal Asige has been very available in terms of consultation and giving a lot of feedback in it. And I was also very blessed to the fact that Senator Asige was actually a member of Trade Committee that looked into this bill. And we spent a lot of time together with Senator Asige, the former chair, Senator Seki, Senator, the good Senator, Senator Montet, Senator Okia Umtata, were among people who helped me so much when I went to the Trade Committee last year. And Mr. Speaker, it's important to say that even in this reformation of, or rather reorganization of committees, Senator Esio Kenyuri has been very important in helping with the input of this bill, as well as the members of the Trade Committee as constituted now as led by Senator Issa Juma Boy. And Mr. Speaker, this is a very great bill in my view because of that consultation and because of that input, because it's a bill that is seeking to find a long-lasting solution to what creatives are facing in this economy, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the first thing that we found as a problem is that when people think creatives, they think most of the time in our economies, mostly because of culture and sometimes lack of understanding of what opportunities lie in the creative industry. People in the creative industry are sometimes seen as people who do not succeed in the traditional modes of survival. Among them in academic world include things like studying engineering, studying law, studying medicine, or generally not actually being able to go to school, to the extent that there has not been a profound investment. There has not been a profound investment in making sure that the people in our economy can understand, one, that the creative industry is so vast beyond just the idea of music, film, and sometimes performing arts. Secondly, there has not been a pronounced investment in making sure that our children understand that the creative industry is also an industry that you can be able to make a long-lasting career, a professional career. And thirdly, Mr. Speaker, there has not been a proper investment to make sure that the creative industry can be a place to make commercial viability projects, to invest in business cases and make sure that actually young people can make economic well-being from the creative industry. And not only young people, Mr. Speaker, because we have also seen older people in the arts and older people in the craft, older people publishing books, but there is no big investment in the business case. So the first thing that this bill seeks to change is that attitude and mindset on creatives as a place for last resort. And that starts by us as a house being able to move any issues that affect creatives from the Ministry of Culture to the Ministry of Trade, where we can actually be able to make a business case, a career case for creatives. The second thing that this bill seeks to deal with, Mr. Speaker, is there are a number of laws that are put to respond to problems of creatives. I'll mention some of them due to pressure of time because I don't want to monopolize the conversation on this bill. I would want to hear from senators. But there are overarching issues that creatives do face in the industry that sometimes become difficult to deal with just by simple aspect of laws, because you end up having people writing laws that are not sensitive to the industry. And some of these issues, Mr. Speaker, I'll mention them just quickly. The issues of royalties. How are creatives earning in the creative industry? The issues of IP, intellectual property rights. How are creatives ensuring that copyright laws are up to date, not only to the local changing environment, but to the emerging complexity at a global stage? The issues of distribution. Creatives are based on content distribution. How are issues of content handled by law to make sure that creatives don't lose in terms of ownership of this content, but also just being able to earn from this content? And lastly, Mr. Speaker, for today, the issues of contracts. Our creatives left to legal binding documentations that ensures that they're not exploited in the course of producing and selling and earning from their sweat in terms of the product that they have developed in the entire creative industries. So, Mr. Speaker, if you look at something like royalties alone, Mr. Speaker, digital disruption alone has made it so impossible for young people and even older people in the creative industry to find a way of having transparency and even efficiency in terms of collecting their royalties. The payment systems sometimes are very complex, but even where they're not complex, the multifaceted nature of jurisdictions makes it impossible for creatives to be able to get more money, or even, not even just about more money, but adequate resources that are commensurate to the product that they give in the marketplace. If you look at, for instance, industrial policies that affect collaboration as well as technology across our borders, Mr. Speaker, they are generally ambiguous, they are generally vague, and most importantly, where our laws do not go, for instance, in places like Ireland, where Facebook is based, then we have got no power of making sure that creators can be able to earn from these places. And Mr. Speaker, I learn very frequently that there are constant reviews on legal frameworks and even multi-stakeholder engagements that are emerging all over the world. The legal frameworks that are in the US, that sometimes our creatives find themselves in some of these platforms, and those that are in China, for instance, where TikTok emerged. Mr. Speaker, they are so complex that those constant reviews cannot just happen when you pass just one law that deals with issues of royalties. And Mr. Speaker, among other things that makes it even more complex is that when you think about royalties, even in music industry, for instance, there are so many intermediaries that affect how creatives end up earning. For instance, Mr. Speaker, record labels, publishers, and performance rights organizations are so many within our borders that even if you are to just pass one single law on royalties, Mr. Speaker, it becomes impossible for young people who are in the music industries and even other industries that have the same intermediaries to be able to get what belongs to them. Mr. Speaker, you'll realize that across board, be it in music, be it in film, be it in performing arts, you are
Maria, Mãe de Deus, rogai por nós, pecadores, agora e na hora de nossa morte. Amém. Ave Maria, cheia de graça, o Senhor é convosco. Bendita sois vós entre as mulheres, e bendito é o fruto do vosso ventre, Jesus. Santa Maria, Mãe de Deus, rogai por nós, pecadores, agora e na hora de nossa morte. Amém. Glória ao Pai, ao Filho e ao Espírito Santo,